What is going on, YouTube? Tom here, and some important news to share with everybody. Now, if you have lived under a rock this morning, they finally revealed the 2020 Shelby GT500 horsepower rating. And yes, again, if you haven't seen it, it's 760 horsepower, 625 pound-feet of torque. Let's talk about that, because some people are actually disappointed by this, and why, I have no idea. But yes, what a time to be alive when everybody is disappointed at a car only making 760 horsepower. Because, quite frankly, that's a lot of power. But yes, the car behind me, my 2018 5.0, which is rated at 460 horsepower, approximately 10 years ago, that was supercharged Roush Mustang territory. You had to pay a lot of extra money to get 460 horsepower. Now, 2018 and up, that's stock, just GT numbers. So seriously, what a time to be alive when we're talking about that being only 460 and this Shelby being only 760. Now, yes, it's not as much when you compare it to the Dodge Hellcat Red Eye, which makes 797, which I strongly believe is really just the same motor as the Demon, so it's probably making 800. And then, of course, but it is making 5 more horsepower than a Chevy Camaro ZL1, which makes 755. Now, not as much torque, though, 625. Although, with that torque number, I know some people are probably going to argue that it is low torque. That's actually right about what a supercharged Coyote makes. So realistically, it's not that bad on the torque, I don't think. But I strongly believe that's going to be an underrated number. I strongly believe that 760, that's not accurate at all. Because as we saw when I put this car in the dyno, I put the red car behind me on the dyno, it made 464. Now, and made over 400 torque, even though that car, it's 460 horsepower to the crank, 425. Yes, even though it was a dyno jet, it still made more than a Shelby that went after me. So, clearly, if Ford is underrating a Coyote, I strongly believe the Shelby, the GT500, is also going to be underrated. That being said, the closest competitor to this car, internal competitor, is the Roush Stage 3, which that same day I put this car in the dyno and the Shelby went, a guy with a bone stock Roush Stage 3 went up and made low 600s to the wheel. When Roush Stage 3, they're rated for 710 to the wheels, or 710 to the crank, I should say. So for that car to make low 600s, you make what you pay for with a Roush Stage 3. So therefore, I think when it comes to Roushes, you get what you pay for. So personally, the Shelby, to pay all that extra money for only 50 extra horsepower, I don't think is going to be the truth at all. The only advantage of Roush anymore is you can still get a manual Roush where the Shelby's only going to come with the dual clutch. Yes, I'm still mad the Shelby's only coming with the automatic. It still won't have a manual. That's a whole nother rant, honestly. But yes, I don't see the necessity of the Shelby paying all that extra money for only 50 extra horsepower. And maybe internally for Ford, there's reasons why you'd only want it for 760. Probably for insurance purposes, but the big one is, with all that rating, that, if theoretically speaking, when this car gets put on a dyno, because someone's going to put a Shelby on a dyno, theoretically speaking, if that 760 number is accurate, then it's going to make roughly mid 600s. I predict this is going to be underrated, I predict it's going to be low 700s. But the big one is with this car, is it going to make the other numbers? Ford is saying it's going to have a mid 3-second 0 to 60 and a quarter-mile time of sub 11, so somewhere in the 10-second range. The big one is, will it make those numbers? If it makes them, then yes, I will strongly say it is underrated, because that 760, I don't think that's truly enough to make what Ford is saying it will. But yes, I strongly predict it's underrated, but only time will tell, because as we know with the Coyote, despite the horsepower, suspension just can't handle accelerating, and as we saw with this car, Ford rates it at mid 4-second 0 to 60. And the best I've been able to achieve with this car is 5 flat, and sustained it's right around 5.2. But the big one is with the Coyote is an automatic Coyote is said to make right around 3.9 seconds 0 to 60. It's anybody who has a 10R80 Coyote, if you've made that 3.9 seconds, please let me know, because I strongly doubt it will make that mid 3 second 0 to 60. I mean, if it does, I will eat my words, but just going off of Ford's track record with the 5.0s, I don't predict it making the power that it says it's going to make. And of course, the final point I wanted to mention was Ford's marketing department. As some people know, they revealed this number on Twitter through the Ford Mustang page. I'll put a link below to Twitter with that. So some millennial somewhere in that marketing department, their legacy is going to be the way they did it with that puzzle piece arrangement. They basically did multiple posts with puzzle pieces and basically said if it gets a certain amount of like reaction, they would post the next one. Started with if it gets 500 retweets, then if it gets 1,000 likes and a certain number of comments. Kind of interesting, actually, the way Ford did that. But unfortunately, I don't know if I'd call that a success or not, just because Ford, dear Ford, can we get this car on sale already? Because you've been basically dragging this out for 6 months now for different tidbits of information. You've already revealed the looks of the car. You're not doing like the Dodge Demon, where everyone wants to kind of replicate the Dodge Demon's success when it comes to marketing, but unfortunately, I just don't think anyone else has hit the mark. This teaser, these bits of teaser information, and finally, here's the car. The reality is you revealed the car, and then you're doing all the specs about it. But that being said, let me know in the comment section below what you think about all that. What do you all think about that? Do you all think it's going to do the 760 horsepower, or do you think this car is underrated and it will make a lot more horsepower? Anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you are stopping in for the first time, go ahead and subscribe. But anyway, take care, have a good day.